Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now. If you've been paying attention to the NFL buzz lately, you probably already sensed that something significant is brewing in the NFC East. And no, it's not just about the usual drama or the early season surprises. This is about a potential blockbuster trade that could shake up the entire division and maybe even set the stage for the Commanders to make a serious push toward contending for a Super Bowl. And it involves none other than Roquan Smith, the star linebacker from the Baltimore Ravens, who's been at the center of intense speculation lately. Reports say that the Ravens are seriously considering trading Smith to the Washington Commanders in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2027 NFL Draft. That's a bold move, but one that could pay huge dividends for Washington if it comes to fruition. Sources close to the situation indicate that the Ravens, currently in a bit of a transitional phase, are weighing this trade as a way to free up cap space and acquire future assets, especially after their struggles this season. Right now, Baltimore's defense has been a bit leaky, allowing about 25 points per game, which isn't exactly what you'd expect from a team with playoff aspirations. They're sitting at 1-2, and with around $12, $3 million in cap space this year. They're also looking ahead to 2026, where they're carrying a hefty $71 million in dead cap after moving on from Lamar Jackson. So, clearing some cap space and adding a first-round pick in 2027 could be a smart way to rebuild, especially if they're planning to go through a bit of a retooling process post-Jackson. But for the Commanders, this isn't just about acquiring a star linebacker. It's about transforming their entire defense. Roquan Smith, who's only 26, is one of the most instinctive and versatile linebackers in the league. Think of him as a chess master on the field, always a few moves ahead. He devours running plays, covers tight ends and receivers with inescapable fog, and has the kind of instinct that elevates any defense he's part of. His career stats are impressive. Over 0 tackles, 20 interceptions, 68 pass deflections, 20 sacks, and a PFF grade of 91.8. His coverage stats are also top tier, allowing just about 5.9 yards per target, with a completion percentage of 65.2% and missed tackles around 4.1%. He's a game changer, and his presence could elevate the Commanders' defense from decent to elite almost overnight. Now, let's consider the impact of adding Smith to the Commanders. Currently, Washington's linebacker core has struggled, especially in coverage, allowing close to 7-8 yards per completion. They're sitting at a cap hit of roughly $4.5 million, but there's room to maneuver, especially if they decide to restructure contracts like that of Wagner, which could free up an additional $8 million. The big picture here is that Smith could be the catalyst for a dramatic defensive upgrade, with projections indicating that he could bring an extra 140 tackles, improve coverage efficiency by around 18%, and reduce expected points allowed per coverage snap by nearly 0.19. He's a true game changer. Imagine a defense anchored by a hybrid linebacker like Smith, who's reminiscent of Ray Lewis in his prime, a player with a relentless motor, unmatched leadership, and the ability to rally the entire unit. The Commanders are already building around a promising young core, and adding a veteran like Smith would give them a core of elite talent that could rival the best defenses in the league. They could become a nightmare for offenses, especially with their projected stop rate increasing by about 17%, as well as additional tackles for loss, up to 35, and a versatile hybrid role that makes them unpredictable. This kind of move would have ripple effects beyond just the current season. It would send a message to the rest of the league that the Commanders are serious about contending, about turning their defense into a championship-caliber unit. If they pull it off, it could be the spark that ignites a deep playoff run and even a Super Bowl appearance. The odds are currently at plus 15000, but with Smith's addition, those odds could dramatically shorten to plus 6,500, reflecting their new status as a team to watch. Of course, there's also the consideration of how the Ravens view this. They're in rebuild mode, trying to find assets that can help them transition away from the Jackson era and build for the future. Moving Smith, who's only 26, for a first-round pick in 2027, makes sense from their perspective if they believe they can retool quickly. It's a move that echoes the kind of bold trades we've seen from teams like the Seahawks with Bobby Wagner, who racked up over 120 tackles in 2023, or other franchises that are not afraid to shake things up to get better faster. For the Commanders, this is a rare opportunity. They've been searching for a defensive centerpiece that can elevate the entire unit, and Roquan Smith fits that mold perfectly. His ability to cover, stop the run, and create chaos behind the line of scrimmage makes him a perfect fit for their defensive scheme. Plus, he's a proven leader on and off the field, someone who can mentor younger players and set a tone for the entire team. Washington's defense, which has allowed nearly 8 yards per completion and struggled to get consistent pressure on quarterbacks, would instantly become more formidable with Smith patrolling the middle. Looking ahead, the Commanders are in a position to make a real leap. Their current record of 0-3 isn't what they envisioned, but with a few strategic moves, they could turn the season around. The addition of Smith would not just be a short-term fix, but a long-term investment in their defense's future. With projected improvements in tackles and coverage efficiency, the team would be setting itself up for sustained success. Meanwhile, the Ravens, in the midst of their rebuild, might be willing to part ways with a player of Smith's caliber if it means acquiring a valuable pick that can help them develop their next wave of stars. The timing of this trade could be crucial. The NFL trade deadline is coming up on November 4th, and it's the perfect window for teams to make bold moves. If the Commanders can close the deal, they'll be adding a player who can immediately impact games and help them compete at the highest level. Imagine a defense that can consistently shut down opposing offenses, force turnovers, and give their offense a chance to control the game. That's exactly what Smith could bring to Washington. Now, I want to stress that all of this is still in the rumor mill, but the signs point to a serious possibility. The Ravens are pondering this move because they see the value in a first-round pick in 2027, an asset that could define their future. The Commanders, on the other hand, are hungry for that kind of difference-maker to push them over the edge. If this trade happens, it could be one of the biggest stories of the NFL season, especially in the NFC East, which is already shaping up to be one of the most competitive divisions in recent memory. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you believe Roquan Smith could be the missing piece to turn this season around? Would you be excited to see him in the burgundy and gold? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal.